Corner TV program. We've got lots of exciting features like talk show segment, our contemporary topical issue segment, stay on with our inspirational wise word segment, talent showcase, while laugh it out with our comedy segment, sports, clear your nostalgic vibes with music, and lots more. Join us as Youth Corner picks up your minds. Keep watching, don't blink. With our comedy segment, sports, clear your nostalgic vibes with music, and lots more. Join us as Youth Corner picks up your minds. Keep watching, don't blink.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Youth Corner. Today promises to be very interesting and interactive. And I forgot, happy new month to my viewers out there. I hope this month has been good and nice. Today we are going to be talking about a very important topic. No, very important topics, because we have two guests in the house today who will be taking you on different, let me not mention it, but sit back and enjoy, because today promises to be very exciting. I hope you've not forgotten what me and Ire talked about last week. We said you should learn, unlearn and relearn, and then we said you shouldn't be wiser than your masters. You should humble yourself and sit down to learn. Yeah, today we have come again with another episode, new things. Please just get ready, get your pen and your paper and sit down close to your TV so that you can jot down what you are going to. Because me too, I'm ready to learn today, because it's a very, when I say very important topic that we're going to learn today. Please sit back, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You are watching Youth Corner.
It's World Youth Skills Day, and I'm really glad to be here. I'm a baker and I'm really excited to be baking. I don't know what else I would do apart from baking. My skill is about making cakes for weddings, the celebrations in general. You know, it's the general saying that any celebration without a cake is actually just a meeting. Baking rather is actually my interest, because I get to be a major part of big days or very important days of people, alright? And that's taken me from would I say a lower grace level to a bigger grace level. My successes so far has been the fact that I've been able to pass this knowledge to a lot of young people.
Music is something I've always loved to do, and that was one of the reasons I went into music fully. And playlist creation, I started with having my own playlists on DSPs. Like I had a playlist on Spotify, it was doing really well. I had a playlist on Pandora as well. I've been racking up a couple of streams, like hundreds of thousands of streams. So before I actually got to contact one of their staffs, and that's how I started working with them. And starting small and working with big brands, it's been great, and it's been a great experience. Getting to meet people, getting to work with the big labels and the big artists as well. It's been a wonderful experience.
I'm Medina mainstream and also female swing, but the skill I developed today is from my child. It's something that I developed right from small. Although I love drawing so much, I also become passionate. But I've been able to help my family members, because due to the economic system is kind of down these days, but each and every one of us are struggling more hard to push more forward. Because the only thing is that for you to remain focused in whatever you are doing and also pray to God, and everything will be possible.
My journey to photography has been a very hefty one. I had interest in photography right from when I was a kid. I love pictures, everything pictures. When I had interest in photography, that was when I finished secondary school in I wanted to acquire the skill, but I had some financial issues. And I had to stay for like 3 years after writing my work. I always have this dream of being a photographer, but I believe one day I will. After like 3 years, just like Isaiah 60:22 said, at the right time we will make things right. I got an employment in a photo studio, but I wasn't employed as a photographer. I was employed as a receptionist. So there, I didn't let my interest in photography to die. I started learning things slowly, bit by bit. And here am I.
One of the main reasons I got into the field, of coding per se, is I was really intrigued by the way programs. You know, when you watch all these movies and you're seeing the way programs are moving from this screen to this screen and the rest, and the way technology was developing, and I just wanted to feel involved in the whole process. So that's the whole story behind why I got into programming as a whole. I like the fact that I've been able to impact more knowledge on people. So if you are saying technology is not my thing, definitely be left out, because every day technology is going to grow, and whether you are involved or not, you can't stop the process. So all you have to do is get involved, know how these things work.
One of the reasons I'm into digital marketing is because during the pandemic, I noticed that a lot of places were closed. There was employment, people lost their jobs, and the new theme, what was going on there was the digital world, and the technology was what was keeping us at home and safe. And I wanted to be in a space where I can create value. That was why I moved into digital marketing. And I'm trying to see how I can merge digital marketing and tourism together, and thereby impacting my community and making people know that there are so many tourist attractions in Nigeria. So far, the training has been mind-blowing. A lot of times I used to think that technology is all about codes, and coming here and realizing that it's not about coding, that there are some that I could also be involved in, like digital marketing. I don't get to code, I get to understand different segments of technology. It's been really cool and nice. And it's funny because a lot of people, especially women, they don't like going into technology, into tech. They're like, well, I cannot do it too. But coming here, I realized that it's much more simpler than what you think it is. So I encourage other women to also join the technology world and feel so that we could also be much more.
Part of why I took interest in designing is because of how I loved seeing visual stuff, and how I loved brand identities. So I had an interest for flyers, had an interest for logos, and never knew that they are part of brand identity until I learned this. I took the course, design course at the top. Then I was 220 before lockdown. Yeah, so during the lockdown, I applied everything I learned. I worked for 3 food brands. I did a lot of jobs for people. After the lockdown, I came back to the Root Hub to advance my skill. From there, I decided to train.
One of my advice for decision makers out there are push your kids, push your words out there to learn technology. Show them that technology is not just something that you watch in movies. It's actually something we do every day.
Yeah, I don't think you have to wait for the government most times. Sometimes you need to start something by yourself before the government actually comes to you. So I believe you can start up something by yourself, and I mean, if you stand out.
I love the state government to create more skill acquisition program for people to undergo training. I believe there are youth just like me out there who have some skills they would love to acquire, but due to their financial challenges, they cannot acquire them. So I would love the state government to make a provision for that. Thank you.
My advice to government and political leaders all around the world, religious leaders, give us good policies that would help us, do business free or more free. I don't know the English there. Give us good roads. People, thank you so much.
Skill acquisition is one area that every STEM person should get involved. I always like to use myself as a case study. I was fortunate to go to school. I graduated in 2010. Came back from wait for mobilize for NYC, and I came back to you. the first thing I did was to learn a trade. So the issue of young people involving in trade is an issue that we cannot do without. Every person in position of authority should do his or her bit to see how to pick people from the street and try to give them a living. Everyone should learn a trade.
If government cannot employ you, employ yourself, and you will know that at the end, you will be the one that will employ government. There's work in town, there's work in Uyo, there's work in Akwa Ibom. There are so many things to do. You can go into sewing, there are this international sewing. Sometimes people sew online. They check styles online and then they sew, and then they make it. And you can go into pipeline welding.
You are watching Youth Corner.
Hello viewers, welcome to Youth Corner. Sorry for the long break. Please, this week is World Breastfeeding Week. I know most of us will be just hearing this for the first time because of what has been trending for the past few days on social media. But never mind, this week is World Breastfeeding Week. It starts from the 1st of August and runs down to the 7th of August every year. And the theme for this year's awareness for breastfeeding is making breastfeeding and work. So on today's episode, we have a guest here, Mrs. Untense Ekwere. She's a nurse and she's going to be here to be talking about breastfeeding, how it can work with nursing mothers who are also working, lactating. She's going to be talking about a lot. So I would like you to sit down and listen to what she's going to say. The way we get it all wrong, we should relearn and unlearn according to Ire. So please don't go anywhere. Welcome, Ma. Thank you for joining us on our program today.
Thank you very much.
So, Ma, how are you? How are you doing? You look good, though.
I'm fine and good. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you for coming. So, Ma, going to the breastfeeding, how do you explain breastfeeding to someone that does not really know? I know breastfeeding is a process of giving breast to a child, or it's not just humans. Animals breastfeed their children. So how can you explain it to a layman's understanding what breastfeeding is?
I'm smiling because when you say giving breast to the child, it's like maybe giving a toy to the child, but I think that's not what breastfeeding is about.
Okay.
Rather, breastfeeding is about providing nutrition to the baby.
Okay.
So that's where I said I had to start by smiling, like it's not about giving a toy or a play object to the baby, but it's about nutrition, which we know that nutrition is very essential to good health. And remember, as we will be talking, it is the foundation of life. So whatever happens once a child is born is what creates or makes for the foundation of that child. So talking about breastfeeding, it is the best option if we as human is given the opportunity to say so much about it. Remember, if a dog puts to bed, it is the breast that the dog gives to the baby.
Yeah.
And as well, if a woman puts to birth, the breast is the best option that should be given to the baby, except otherwise contraindicated, maybe as a result of illness or other complications that may make it impossible for the breast to be provided for the baby.
I like you when you said except other complications. I've always had these questions coming up whenever I talk about breastfeeding. Okay. So Ma, I want to know, is there different types of breastfeeding? Because I do hear people talk about exclusive breastfeeding. People also talk about black breastfeeding. I think I know what exclusive breastfeeding means, but I'm yet to understand what black breastfeeding means.
When we are looking at breastfeeding, it has to do with ensuring that the baby and the mother, they come together from the beginning of their life. The baby immediately after birth needs to be attached to the mother's breast. And when we mean immediately after birth, immediately the baby comes out, the first thing that the midwife or whoever is attending to the mother, the first thing is ensuring that everything is okay with the baby, and the next thing is attaching the baby to the mother's breast to initiate that first suckling, because this will go a long way to help the baby and the mother to bond, and that is a lifetime process. So it is very important to start breastfeeding immediately a baby is born, and then subsequently we see how to educate and assist especially the new mothers to ensure that they know the right way to give and how not to stress or strain themselves, because it can be very interesting if one knows how to do it well, but it can be very challenging when that knowledge or that little information is not available to the new mother or even to older mothers, because you know with time there are some things that even when we are learning in the process, but you may not get it right the first time, so there's still need for us to learn how to do it and how to stay off of the problems that characterizes breastfeeding.
Okay, well, so Ma, I would like to ask, is it possible for, okay, let me put the question this way. It's still in line with what you said earlier, that except the mother has complications or a state of illness, I do see majority of the women that give birth through CS find it difficult to give birth to breastfeed their child exclusively. And what is the duration for exclusive breastfeeding?
When we are talking about women that give birth by cesarean section, I think it's about preparing the woman ahead of time, because even with CA, some mothers, if they had prepared their mind before time, they'll still find way to get their baby attached to them in a way that it does not affect the
injury,
the aspects of the abdomen that had the CS. So cesarean section is not a contraindication for breastfeeding. That's to say, women that have a cesarean section, they can still be aided to attach their babies to the breast, unless there are some other issues that calls for them not being able to do that, and then they have to see how we can now bring up other ways to help the baby feed. But there's no issue. After cesarean section, babies can still be properly breastfed. And like we said, it starts from the very
first day that
the baby is born. And it can stay, maybe the first time may be just a short while, depending on how the mother had prepared or how anybody available is able to aid the mother. Remember, the woman is in pain, so she needs a lot of assistance and encouragement to really stay on. But with the excitement of motherhood, any mother will want to stay on with the baby because this is the joy. It is the climax of the experience. So definitely breastfeeding is one of the best things any woman looks forward to, except for, like we had said, the conditions that may make it impossible for her to breastfeed the baby.
Okay, ma. Still in line with the question, conditions and health. Makan, is it possible for an HIV patient or a cancer patient to still breastfeed her child?
When we are looking at a cancer patient, yes. Are we looking at is it the breast cancer, or what aspect of the body is being affected?
Cancer,
okay, if we are looking at the breast cancer, I think if it is not affecting both breasts, I believe the breast that is not affected, and it depends on the stage of cancer we are looking at.
Okay.
So everything lies on what type of cancer, the breast cancer, what is the level or what is the stage of the cancer. If it's still allowing for breast milk formation and then the mother to be able to feed the baby, I think that can still go ahead. Then for HIV patients, yes, HIV mothers can feed their babies, and that's where we keep talking about giving the right information. because it is lack of the right or appropriate information that makes any individual believe that when a woman is positive that she cannot breastfeed the baby needs to be breastfed just the same way every other woman is breastfeeding the baby. But if the woman has accepted to breastfeed the baby, it has to be exclusively breastfed without allowing in any other thing to be mixed. That's, we don't do mixed feeding. It is exclusive until the 6th month, when the mother is now ready to introduce some other complementary food, and that is when the mother can now stop. And aside that, I think some facilities encourages the baby to be given some prophylaxis in order to ensure that there is prevention of any accidents along the way. Okay. So HIV or cancer mothers can still do the breastfeeding of their baby as much as the condition or situation allows them.
Wow. Just finding out this for the first time. Okay, ma. So is there any alternative for people that would not maybe be like, I feel somehow when I'm breastfeeding my child, like, is there any other thing apart from the breast pump that is trending that people use to extract breast milk from their breast to give to their infants?
I wouldn't believe that a mother that is well guided would want to starve or deprive her baby of the natural process of breastfeeding. But I would want to say, in any case that may happen, there are other processes, maybe like you've just said, using the breast pump to extract the milk, or naturally, like what our parents were doing before now. It can easily be expressed